Good morning. My name is Benjamin Bosque.
My name is Kayla Fernandez.
My name is Julian Apolinaria. And to what extent do environmentally friendly vehicles affect cities with a population over 10 million in the next 15 years? Our claim is the implication of environmentally friendly motor vehicles will highly benefit the environment while also reducing the cost of oil and the materials used to build the motor vehicles. Our possible solutions that we came up with is the switch to hybrid and electric vehicles can reduce the carbon emissions, reduce the amount of time using gasoline-powered cars, and using the transportation methods such as bike or train. As you see here, these are two different engines. To the one here on my left is electric car from a Tesla vehicle, and then to the right is what you see in an everyday gasoline vehicle. As you see here in the left, there is no fuel engine, there's nothing that relies on any type of fossil fuel which causes large carbon emissions. And it's all environmentally friendly materials, so there's no lead, there's no nothing that also causes chemical emissions. And as you see here, everything relies on a fuel tank in the back, which powers the engine that goes to the spark plug into the battery. And the battery is also contained of lead, which is also a bad material to the environment. And as you see here, this is a diagram. This is a diagram of a hybrid vehicle, and this is how the engine diagram works. It gives a routine of how the car. So it starts with a nickel hydride battery, which is better material than the lead battery as you see in an everyday car. And then this is the power control unit, which sends electricity throughout all the functions of the vehicle. And then the electric motor connects to the wheels. When the car is driving, it will use gasoline, but when it's stopped or slowing down, it switches to electric, so it reduces carbon emission. And as you see here, these are the charts of carbon emissions over time. For 2001, it's had a large amount of carbon emissions and then dropped between the time frame of 2001 to 2003. And then it rose again, and it keeps steadily rising and decreasing over time. And then from 2010 to 2011 was the highest increase. And then there's, as you see here, there's a drastic change from 2011 to 2014. And that's when the time where Tesla vehicles and a lot of modern hybrid vehicles, as you see as a Nissan Leaf and the Spark from Chevy, have been made and introduced, and they have been increasing scales, as you see here, how the orange is the leading scales of electric, the blue is hybrid, and then the light blue is gasoline.
It is showcased that hybrid vehicles have a great start talking about sales. For example, CarMax, one of the biggest used car retailer in the United States, has sold over 100,000 hybrid and electric cars since 2001. And now, following with what Julian said, one of this is because the spread of the diesel cars disadvantages. One of them being that the engine emissions. The diesel vehicle cars diesel cars are the biggest carbon dioxide emitters, being the 55% of all of them. This chart being from Penn State University. Also, their maintenance is really expensive, mostly the older models, since the new ones have a better resistance. However, the older ones still have are really hard to maintain, mostly because of the oxidation and the dust that can get to the engine. While on the other hand, the environmental friendly cars have a lot of disadvantages. For example, it's a great investment. As stated from Gene Green, a website only based about the advantages that the environment friendly cars have. You can save up to $3,000 on taxes, mostly because the majority of these vehicles it can have a tax reduction. Also, they have a better gas mileage, since the inherent nature of how the engine is designed. The automotive manufacturers by enable drivers of these vehicles to attain much greater gas mileage. This picture here showcases how the eco-friendly cars are how the recycled parts are a great advantage, which it is. They have less cost being made from more recycled materials. But the implementation of these vehicles to a greater scale will also be really hard to do. It will have a great impacts on the economy. One of them being the gas prices. As you can see in this graph from gasbody.com, since 2009, the price of gas has been increasing to a steady rate, getting up to $3.86. So with a great implementation of these new vehicles, the gas prices will greatly low. The building cars will also be cheaper in comparison to diesel vehicles, as I said before, with because of the recycled materials.
How Julian said, the execution of these EV vehicles will significantly decrease the harmful gas emissions due to the fact that they use renewable energy, and it's also decreasing the use of conventional gas vehicles that we use nowadays. The implementation of these vehicles will also, as said, are really key to decreasing these pollution levels. As you can see from this graph from University of Washington, although America's pollution levels are not that bad, as you can see, the east side is significantly worse than the west side, and New York City had a premature death toll of up to 12,040 deaths due to the harmful particles that the pollution has released and entered into human bodies. As Benjamin said, this is really good for the economy due to the fact that although they can be expensive at first, in the long run, most people save with these electronic vehicles than waste compared to conventional gas vehicles, which waste more money on getting gas every week. How has this affected the environment? As you can see here, EVs produce zero carbon dioxide emissions, offsetting the production in 4,900 miles. Also, the increased lithium battery research is crucial to inventing newer and improved EV vehicles, which could eventually, in the end, wipe out conventional gas vehicles from the market in an attempt to better the environment. Now, how will this continue to help? As I said before, to better the environment and to better the economy, the implementation of these vehicles will eventually, sooner or later, become the best thing for the community due to the fact that the pollution levels, as Julian said, continue rising over the years. Now, in the long run, EV vehicles' advantages are way greater than the disadvantages. Because they are proven to keep decreasing the pollution and air quality levels, in the end, this benefits the community as a whole due to the fact that there are better prices and it releases less harmful particles in the air, as well as better and safer vehicles for the community. Now, our counterclaim is the massive introduction of eco-friendly vehicles will drastically affect the economy of cities and the perception of the people. Although this is very true, if the majority of the population switches to electronic or hybrid cars, the carbon emission rate will drop, which will cause a reduction in greenhouse gases as well as climate change. Thank you. What are your questions?
All right, guys. Do you have a question for each of you? We're going to start over here, first up. Julian, in the future, what changes would you make to your group norms, and how would you expect that to improve the team presentation?
Honestly, they could have improved a little bit more with communication, but otherwise everything else is fine. Probably meeting up a little bit more because we didn't have that much time to do so, since everyone had a busy schedule, but we still maintained, so nothing much will change.
Okay. Next up. Kayla, reflecting on your colleagues' work, which one had the greatest impact on your overall understanding of the problem that you guys identified?
I would say definitely Mapu's, even though she's not in our group anymore. But the environmental aspect is the way that I decided to base a lot of my future aspect on, because the implementation of these vehicles are mostly to better the environment due to the fact that our world is kind of going through like climate change and global warming and such. But that would be the most.
All right, thank you. Ben,
Yes.
what was the strongest counter argument to your solution that your teams identified, and why so?
Could you repeat the last part?
Sure. Why was it the strongest?
So the one we picked that the great implementation would be could make a great impact on people. We picked that because most of the vehicles on road are diesel vehicles, so the great implementation of them will be a great change for how they manage their money and the uses of the vehicle itself.
Okay, you're done. Great.